They say ancient truths lie buried beneath ruins, tucked away in lost scrolls, or hidden in secret temples guarded by time itself. But what if that wasn't true? What if the most powerful wisdom isn't buried? It's visible, staring back at you from your own reflection every single morning. Your face is more than flesh. It is a map, a message, a mirror of everything you've lived, everything you've lost, and everything you've yet to remember. This is not just a beauty tip. This is an ancient key. You see, in our fast-paced world, we brush past routines like machines. Wake up, rinse, repeat. We wash our faces not out of reverence, but out of habit, never questioning why this act feels so empty. But what if I told you the way you wash your face could be the first sacred ritual of your day? What if that splash of water in the morning wasn't just removing oil, but dissolving emotional residue, lifting the veil between who you are and who you've been pretending to be? Let me take you back, not just in time, but in consciousness. Imagine a woman standing at the edge of the Nile. The sun is rising, casting golden light across the water like liquid fire. She kneels, scoops mineral-rich water into her palms, and gently bathes her face, not to beautify, but to realign. She whispers a prayer to Isis. She's not cleaning her skin. She's preparing to step into her true self. This was the beginning of many days in ancient Egypt, a moment of energetic preparation, not physical hygiene, because they believed the face is the altar, the place where the divine and human meet. Now look at us. We wake in fluorescent light. We slap cold water on our cheeks, barely awake, already thinking about emails. And then we wonder why the day feels heavy, why we look in the mirror and feel like strangers to ourselves. The truth is, the face absorbs everything. Every glance, every comment, every moment of self-doubt, it all leaves a mark. You may not see it at first, but it's there. Over time, your reflection becomes cluttered, a collage of other people's opinions, a mirror smudged with silent, emotional fingerprints. And slowly, your own essence gets buried underneath it all. That's why the ancients turned to two simple elements: water, flowing, alive, connected to memory and emotion; salt, crystalline, grounding, capable of absorbing and transmuting energy. Together, they were seen as living forces, not ingredients, not chemicals, guardians. They believed that every ritual, no matter how small, must begin with purification, not just of the body, but of the energetic field. Because how can you connect with the sacred when you're still carrying yesterday's heaviness? Now, I want you to imagine this. Tomorrow morning, instead of rushing, you fill a glass bowl, not a plastic one, with warm water. You stir in coarse sea salt with care, feeling it dissolve between your fingers like ancient crystals surrendering to the present. You cup the water gently and press it to your skin, not rubbing, not scrubbing, just allowing. In that moment, you breathe, and you realize you've just stepped into a ritual older than language. You're not just cleaning your face, you're cleansing your story. This isn't about skin. It's about the veil between the self you've become and the soul that's been waiting to reemerge. When water and salt touch your skin with intention, something changes, subtle but real. It's like tuning a radio dial and hearing your own frequency come through for the first time in years. And in that moment, your face is no longer a stranger, it's home. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine you're standing inside a temple, not made of marble or gold, but of air and breath and quiet knowing. There's no incense, no chants, no gods carved into stone, just a mirror and a bowl of salted water, and a truth whispering from deep within. You've done this before, because this ritual isn't new, it's ancient. It has lived across timelines, across continents, across cultures, quietly surviving, passed from hand to hand like a sacred ember that refuses to die. In the heart of ancient Egypt, initiates would never enter sacred space without cleansing first with salt-laced river water. They believed the Nile carried divine memory. that its waters could dissolve the dust of forgetfulness clinging to the soul. Before offering anything to the gods, they offered presents to themselves. Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary mystic and teacher, taught that purification was the gateway to transformation. As above, so below, he said. And that journey begins not with grand revelations, but with cleansing your face. But Egypt was just one whisper in a global chant. In Hebrew tradition, the mikveh, ritual baths made of living water, were used not to get clean, but to reset spiritual alignment. The water had to move, to flow, just like life, and it was often mixed with salt from the Dead Sea, known to absorb energetic residue like a sponge from the earth itself. In India, salt has long been considered sacred in Vedic rituals, used to ward off negative energy, to purify altars, and to mark the beginning of something worthy. Water, or appa, symbolized the divine feminine, the womb of creation, the breath of the goddess. To wash one's face in salt water was not cosmetic, it was ceremonial. And then there were the Greeks. To them, salt was not just seasoning, it was a gift from Poseidon, god of the sea, bearer of storm and stillness alike. The philosopher Empedocles believed all things, even the soul, were formed from the elements, earth, air, fire, and water. To combine water with mineral salt was, to them, an act of unifying the cosmos within your very being. Even the forgotten Gnostic texts carry this truth. They describe the human face as the living image of divine light, but only if it is cleansed, not just of dust, but of inherited illusion. And across shamanic cultures, no energy work begins without addressing the face. Why? Because your face is where the world enters, where the soul breathes out, where emotions are stored and mirrored back. It is the first thing others see, and often the last part of you that you remember. Think of it. How often do we clean our phones more carefully than we clean our own energy field? We scroll, swipe, absorb endless information, never noticing the invisible residue it leaves behind on our skin, in our breath, in our gaze. We carry so many expressions that were never truly ours. A frown shaped by shame, a smile painted to hide fear, tension in the jaw from words never spoken. These don't just vanish, they sink in, layer by layer, until your very face becomes a mask, not of deception, but of disconnection. That is why this ritual exists, to return you to yourself, to peel back the emotional graffiti etched by other people's stories, to reveal the canvas that has always been yours beneath it all. So when you dip your hands into warm, salted water tomorrow, pause, see yourself, not as skin and pores, but as the temple door, the entrance to your sacred space, the place where your essence meets the external, and where the world finally sees who you truly are, without filter, without fear. And as you press water to your face, ask yourself quietly, what am I ready to release? Because beneath every droplet is a message. Beneath every grain of salt, a map. Back to yourself, back to clarity, back to peace. We often think emotions are things we feel, but emotions are also things we store. Have you ever looked at your reflection and felt like something was off? Like your own face didn't quite belong to you? A subtle tightness in your brow? A slight downturn in the corners of your mouth? A hollow beneath your eyes that no cream can fix? That's not just fatigue, that's unprocessed energy. You see, the face is a living diary. Every muscle holds memory. Every expression you've forced, every tear you've swallowed, every truth you've hidden, they remain. Science is catching up with what ancient mystics always knew, that the body isn't just a vessel, it's an archive. Modern neurobiology confirms that emotions are not only processed in the brain, they are stored in the fascia, the connective tissue of the body. And your face, it's rich with fascia, muscles, nerves. It records everything. The smile you faked during heartbreak, the polite nod in a meeting when your soul screamed no, the numb stare into your screen while your inner world collapsed. Every day these impressions build. Layer by layer, they become your new normal. Until one morning, you wake up, splash water on your face, and look in the mirror and ask, who is this person? This is why the saltwater ritual isn't cosmetic, it's alchemical. Because water is memory, and salt is structure. Water carries emotion, it flows, adapts, remembers. Salt holds form, it stabilizes, purifies, anchors. When you combine them, you're doing something remarkable. You're inviting stored emotions to rise, and then let them go. Dr. Masaru Emoto showed us that water responds to human intention. Speak loving words to it, and its crystals form beautiful symmetrical patterns. Speak anger or fear, and the structure collapses, distorts. Now think about this. When you speak intention into the water and place it on your face, you're not just cleansing, you're reprogramming. You're dissolving distorted patterns, you're choosing the shape of your energy. Salt acts like Earth's own filter. It absorbs, it neutralizes, it restores what has been bent by the chaos of modern life. In alchemy, salt is the fixed principle, the container for transformation. Water is the moving principle, the messenger. Together, they don't just wash, they transmute. Each time you perform this ritual with true presence, something subtle happens. The tightness in your brow eases, the weight behind your eyes lifts, your skin glows, not because of product, but because your inner light finally has space to shine through. Your face stops being a battleground of survival and becomes a symbol of your return. This is not metaphor. It is literal, emotional, and energetic truth. Because when your face no longer carries the expressions of others, you begin to wear the expression of your soul. And that changes everything. It changes the way you're seen. It changes who you attract. It changes what the world reflects back to you. Why? Because people don't react to your words. They react to your energy. And when your energy is clean, aligned, grounded in truth, you become magnetic, not by force, but by frequency. So the next time you look in the mirror, don't rush past. Don't scan for flaws. Don't fall into the trap of judgment. Instead, stand there like a guardian at the temple gate. See what's really there, and ask, what part of me is ready to come back home? Because sometimes the most powerful transformation begins with a bowl of water, a handful of salt, and a willingness to truly see yourself. Let's slow everything down, because this isn't about rushing. This isn't about ticking off a box before you start your day. This is about returning to presence. So before the world floods in, before you open your phone, before the notifications, before the roles and responsibilities, you begin with you, and here's how you do it. No distractions, no multitasking, just a quiet space, even if it's only 5 minutes. Take a bowl, not plastic. Use glass, ceramic, or metal, something that holds energy, not dulls it. This is not a container, it's a vessel. Fill it with lukewarm water, not hot, not cold. Lukewarm is the middle path, the balance, the threshold. Now add the salt, not table salt, not bleached, refined, lifeless grains. Use sea salt, Himalayan salt, or fleur de sel. Salt that still remembers the ocean, the mountain, the earth. 1 heaping tablespoon is enough. Stir slowly. Let it dissolve with your intention. As it swirls, say, out loud or within, I invite release. I call in renewal. Now close your eyes. Cup your hands into the bowl and lift the water gently. Let it trickle across your face, not with haste, not with scrubbing. Let it touch you like a blessing, like rain touching soil for the first time in a long, long drought. Breathe. You may feel nothing, or you may feel everything. A lightness behind the eyes, a warmth in your chest, a sudden sigh that comes from someplace deeper than your lungs. Let it happen. You're not washing, you're activating. And if you truly pay attention, you'll feel it. That moment when something within you unlocks, like a memory waking up. A part of you that's been waiting patiently for years now stepping forward. Let the water run down your neck, your jawline, your temples. These are not just physical parts. They are energetic gateways. Your temples, where your soul whispers. Your jaw, where you hold every unspoken word. Your neck, where your voice rises or gets stifled. As the salt water touches each place, it reclaims space for your truth. Now still your breath. Place both hands gently on your face and say, I cleanse not only my skin, but my spirit. I release the day before me. I call in what is true. This moment may seem small, but it's not, because every time you choose intention over habit, presence over autopilot, you shift timelines. You send a message not just to your skin, but to your energy field, to your cells, to your spirit. I am here now. And something else happens, something few speak about. When you cleanse with purpose, your face begins to change. Not dramatically, not overnight, but gradually your expressions soften. Your gaze becomes clearer. You begin to see yourself not through the lens of critique, but through the lens of remembrance. People may say, you're glowing lately, or there's something different about you. They won't know what changed, but you will. It wasn't makeup. It wasn't a new routine. It was you returning to your reflection, fully, intentionally, powerfully. Because when your energy is clear, you no longer wear other people's projections. You stop carrying what doesn't belong, and the world begins to meet who you really are. That is the secret hidden inside this so-called simple act. It's not about skin. It's about soul visibility. It's about preparing your own temple. Before you step into the noise of the day, a sacred goodbye to what no longer serves. A sacred hello to what's always been waiting. And once you begin, truly begin, this practice, you'll never go back. Every time you wash your face with salt and water, you're not just resetting your body. You're sending a message to the universe, a signal, a vibration that says, I am no longer carrying what was never mine. I remember who I am, and the universe responds in kind. People begin to see you differently, not because you've changed your hairstyle or wardrobe, but because your energy field is no longer polluted. You no longer mirror their projections. You no longer absorb their anxiety. Your face becomes a boundary, not a wall, but a filter. And slowly, silently, your world begins to shift. The toxic conversations fade. The unwanted glances bounce off. The draining interactions dissolve. Why? Because your frequency has changed, and frequency is language, a more powerful one than words. You attract not what you want, but what you are. So when you start each day with this ritual, not as routine, but as reverence, you anchor yourself. You claim your sovereignty. You realign with your essence. And that's not some mystical theory. That's energy hygiene. The same way we brush our teeth to prevent decay, we must cleanse our energy to prevent distortion. The face absorbs everything. It's your psychic front line. Through your eyes, you take in light, and sometimes shadows. Through your mouth, you speak truth or silence it. Through your skin, you receive touch, but also tension, fear, expectation. Every smile you didn't mean, every stare you felt too deeply, every mask you wore to survive. They leave echoes, until one day your reflection becomes a stranger. This is where the ritual becomes your rebellion, not against others, but against forgetting. When you stand in front of the mirror, bowl in hand, water flowing through your fingers, salt dissolving like time itself, you are declaring, this is my face, this is my temple. I choose what it reflects. Over time, something else starts to happen. The inner noise quiets. The self-criticism softens. The tension behind your eyes loosens its grip. You begin to see yourself without a filter. And in that clarity, you begin to live differently. You speak more truth. You pause before reacting. You smile, genuinely, because nothing's being forced anymore. And even your body responds. You breathe deeper. Your posture opens. Your nervous system learns to feel safe in your own presence. This is the miracle we overlook, that the smallest daily ritual, done with sacred attention, can alter your entire trajectory. It's not about how long it takes. It's about how deeply you meet yourself within it. Some mornings you'll cry, some you'll laugh, Some you'll feel absolutely nothing, and even that is part of the release. Because healing doesn't always arrive like thunder. Sometimes it's the quiet drop of water rolling down your cheek, carrying with it decades of silence. That's the beauty of this practice. It doesn't demand performance. It only asks for presence. So let it be simple. Let it be silent. Let it be sacred. And when the world outside becomes overwhelming, when the noise gets too loud, when the masks feel too heavy, when the mirror begins to blur again, return to the bowl. Return to the salt. Return to the water. Return to the you who's been waiting beneath it all. And every time you do, you're not just cleansing your face, you're reclaiming your reflection. If you've made it this far, it's not by accident. Something inside you, quiet, ancient, and deeply wise, has been waiting for this moment. Not the part of you that scrolls, analyzes, or critiques, but the part that remembers. Remembers what it feels like to be centered, to wake up without weight, to walk into the world without carrying everyone else's story. This is not a new technique, it's a reawakening, a sacred code written into your DNA. One that says, I am not a mask, I am not a burden, I am not broken. I am a temple, I am presence, I am power. And this ritual, the salt, the water, the mirror, is the key. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to fix what isn't broken. You simply need to remember what got buried beneath the noise. That's what this journey is. Not self-improvement, not spiritual performance, but self-remembrance. And when you practice this daily, when you greet your own face with reverence instead of resistance, everything begins to shift. You no longer react to the chaos of the world. You respond from clarity. You no longer hide behind a polished shell. You lead with authentic energy, and people feel it. They can't name it, but they're drawn to it. Because in a world full of filters and facades, someone who's energetically clean stands out like a beacon. That someone is you. And now I ask you not to let this moment stay just a feeling. Let it become a practice. Every morning, even if just for 1 minute, create your temple space. A quiet breath, a bowl of water, a pinch of salt, a presence so steady the day cannot shake it. And if you can, end your nights the same way, washing off the weight, the stares, the stress. Because you are not meant to carry it. You are not meant to harden to survive. You are meant to shine through with truth. Speak a personal affirmation during your ritual, one that feels like a soul key. I release what isn't mine. I reclaim what is. My face reflects my truth. My energy is my own. Or simply, I am home. Don't worry if you don't feel transformation instantly. This is not magic for show. This is magic for integration. Over days, weeks, something begins to solidify. A new foundation, one that can't be shaken by opinions, rejection, or old patterns. You'll notice it in the mirror, not in the shape of your jaw or the glow of your skin, but in your eyes, clear, present, alive. That is when you know you're not just surviving, you're remembering who you are, and that changes everything. So if this practice has moved something within you, don't keep it in your chest. Share it. Send it to someone who's forgotten how to come back to themselves. Speak about it. Write about it. Anchor it in your world. And right now, comment below. My face is my temple. I am its guardian. Say it not as an idea, but as a vow. And if this message stirred your soul, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because here, we don't just share information. We awaken truth. Each video is a doorway. Each word is a seed. Each ritual is a step. Back home. Back to the you who never needed fixing. Just remembering. So tomorrow morning, when you step toward the mirror, pause. Hold the bowl. Feel the warmth. Let the salt dissolve. Let the noise fall away. Look at yourself, not as a stranger, but as a sacred being, and whisper, welcome back. I see you now. Because you do. Finally, and that is real power. Thanks for watching.